Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Esports Masters League. We are here tonight for round number, what is it, 4 of the championship, I think? Round 3? I don't know, I'm confused. I'm by myself, as you can tell. My name is James and I'm going to be taking you to the stream, of course, tonight. As always, this is round number 3 of the championship here at Magna Nadezhd at the Hungary Ring. Gonna be an interesting night, of course. Hopefully, we get some good racing out on track as well. Mike should be here in the commentary box alongside me. I have a feeling he might have fallen asleep. We can ready up, by the way, for anybody that is looking at the stream now and is in the lobby. We can ready up, so we are pretty much now good to go in terms of the lobby settings and everything like that. Let's have a look, though, through the top 3, of course, from last week. It was Ian Van Unen who did take the race win, from IRT Phil in second, NLR Marlon finishing in third, and Ian Van Unen, of course, creating ET8, 2 out of 2 wins so far for ET8. And as a result, this is how the championship stands. And ET8 are currently skying things out in front, skying high at the top end of the field on 100 points. EPL in second on 53, about the similar amount of points as what they've got now in WR Legacy Division. NLR in third on 46, along with CPI in fourth on 44. IRT in fifth on 43. Team Shazoo sixth on 36. WR Esports in seventh on 33, and then X Esports in eighth on 31. Team TF10 in 9th and 23, and then RCR in 10th on 13 points. That is how the lay of the land lies. Let's have a look then as well at who was racing here tonight as well in Hungary. Definitely drivers going to be hungry for success, dare I say it. X Esports are going to be represented by Luca Rapazza and Jesla. Team Shazoo, who both have qualifying bans, and I'll read you through why they've got qualifying bans in a second. Both Team Shazoo drivers have qualifying bans, that is Nick and Macho. EPL have got Laurent and Tales in for El Plan Racing in the McLarens. Kakowski and Jamie in for CPI in the Ferraris. Then it's Erpek and Ian Van Unen in the Aston Martins for ET8, as it is dry out on track. I can report at the start of the session. Lorenzinho and Nassim in there as well for Alpine. I have got the wrong driver in my notes, so this is going to be quite fun. Keki and Ryan in NLR in the Williams. Team TF10, I've got Dirk and Alex Marciano, former NLR driver, of course. Team TF10's Alex Marciano there now in the AlphaTauri. Phil and Casper, same lineup as last week for IRT in the Alfa Romeo, and then Darth FIFA and Caden Conway in the Haas for WOR as well. Let's have a look then at the track map in question. Coming into tonight, it is 4.3 kilometres length, 2.7 mile, 14 turns. Right now, a driver's out on track here at the Hungary Ring. Going to be an interesting track. There has already been some drama in Division 2, in F2 early on, so if you did not catch that, go and watch it back later on. But of course, there are 2 DRS zones, one down the start finish straight in towards turn number 1, and then one down the hill in towards turn number 2 as well. Let's have a look then out on track. That was a lovely, lovely cameo onto the track there, as we are now out on track. As you can tell, it is dry, but it is overcast, so it is going to be very interesting to see how the drivers fare. Everyone on the set of soft compound tyres for now. Caden Conway looks to be the first man out on track right now, as he now comes through WR Esports in through the right-hander of turn number 5, is what I like to call nickname Car Killer Corner around here as well. Looking through, by the way, in terms of the chat, good evening to Fleddy, good evening to Volakongan, good evening to Mark there, good evening to Maze, and good evening to Volakongan as well. You already got the better Norwegians in the chat. IRT Frank even saying hello there in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. You've got me on commentary, so this is going to be quite fun in terms of my voice. I apologise if anything goes astray with this stream. It has been set up in quick time, but hopefully we'll be getting going out on track very soon, as Caden Conway now comes through into the left-hander now of turn at number 13. We'll see what Caden can do in terms of this lap time. WR Esports have been ticking along quite nicely so far in EML through the first 2 rounds. Of course, Monza was an absolute car fest in Monza last week. We had 14 incidents throughout that race, some of which I will come on to very soon indeed. Oh, as I run above his moustache by mistake there. There's Caden Conway down in towards turn number 1, just escaping there my clutches. Now comes in through the right-hander of turn number 1 and all the way down the hill, of course, in towards the left-hander now, turn at number 2, where we've seen some famous dive bombs and PSGL, PSF1 around here in the past. Now comes to the left-hander turn 2, and then through the right-hander now of turn number 3, running up the hill in towards pretty much the most favourite and most horrible hated corner on this track. 27-2 in the first sector from Caden Conway. Everyone's out wide slightly coming through turn 4, then through the right-hander now in turn number 5. as he now comes in towards the chicane of turn 6 and 7. QVR Campbell was famously sitting there on that banking on the left-hand side when he was at the Hungarian Grand Prix a little while back. Hayden Conway now coming through the right-hander, the turn number 8, now through turn 9, and in towards now the right-hander of turn number 10 and towards the back part of the lap. One of my favourite corners this coming up, turn 11, 54.2 in the middle sector, so not looking too bad, it's not looking too quick either. But Caden now coming through the left-hander of turn number 12 and in toward the right-hander now, the left-hander even, of turn number 13, and then in towards the right-hander now of turn number 14. Looking very, very neat from the WR man as it now comes through the final corner and on the run to the line. Should be around a 1:16, I think, to start off the night. Yeah, 15.7, not a bad lap there at all from Caden Conway to start off the night at all. Ian Van Noonen, I think, is up on a lap time as well, 27 flat through the first sector. Dirk, 27 flat through the first sector as well. Lorenzinho was back off his laps. The RCR man is into the pit lane. Gatkowski got into Q3 in Legacy Division yesterday in Brazil. He goes quickest out of everyone, a 15 flat, definitely suiting CPI. Apparently he has got a PS5 now, which is why I think he is backing that up with his performances so far. IRT Phil backing up his performance so far with a 14.9, is now on board with CPI Jamie. CPI's other driver to the line. Oh, and he's absolutely obliterates that time of Phil with 14.795, so not a bad lap time there at all from him. Early lap times are being set in, as I say. Ian Van Noonen, I think, is coming through the final corner. Oh, just missed him. Coming to the line there, 14.9. Not a bad lap at all from him. TF10 now coming through with Dirk through the final corner on the run toward the line. We'll see what his lap time is going to be. And Dirk, in the end, goes 5th, a 14.948. Very good driver on his day. He is one of the team managers, of course, on PlayStation Team TF10 as well. So he is doubling up here. Urpek there going 6th as well. Urpek, of course, recently joining ET8 after leaving F7R. And I've got to be honest with that, and I'll say it now on stream, I think that's a goated signing. I really think that is a shrewd signing by ET8 to get Urpek in from F7R. Clearly unhappy with the dynamics maybe of the team, was the former F7R man, now part of ET8, the team that he's been in before. So technically, he could say he's back home, technically, the Aston Martin man there in 7th. As Alex Marciano comes to the line there to go 9th, Jeslar there in 10th as well. Don't think there's anybody else on the lap time right now. Mustache is into the pit lane. Lorenzinho was on an out lap right now. The first lap time's pretty much done, and it is CPI Jamie out on top, getting remonstrated as a cheat code apparently in the chat according to IRT. Frank, we'll hold you to that. Hopefully it's not like a Thomas Ronnar situation here on console. But Jamie out on top, Kaki there in 2nd, Phil there in 3rd, and currently actually top 6 drivers are out of the different teams. So top 6 teams pretty much separating, so very nicely done indeed. As I mentioned, Team Chazoo with those qualifying bans, and I will run you through very shortly as soon as I get my notes up on my screen, why they have got a qualifying ban, and it's because I think they've had 3 reprimands within the season, if I'm not mistaken, just off the top of my head. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Seabiz, yeah, I know he's joking. I'm taking that as a bit of figurative speech. Do not take that seriously, what Frank has just said, and what I've just said about Thomas Ronhar out on chat either. It's just a bit of banter. We love banter here in EML. Jamie out on top, Keki in 2nd, Phil there, currently in 3rd. Team Chazoo were awarded a team qualifying ban for round 3 after picking up 3 reprimands in 1 season. That's through the first 2 rounds of the championship. There was a 5-second penalty awarded to Casper, 5-second penalty to Luca, 5-second penalty to Nick, and 1 reprimand for no footage. 3-second penalty for Francesco Largo, 15 seconds for Caden Conway, and then everything else was either no further action and a reprimand for RCR, or a racing incident, or all got rejected. Out of 14 incidents, let's hope we don't have that number here tonight, as Lorenzinho now down into the left-hander of turn number 2. Now coming through the right-hander now of turn number 3. This driver still out on track. Very overcast conditions here in qualifying, so the soft compound tyres won't be running up to their temperature normally. 27.2 though in the first sector, not looking too bad at all from the RCR man. Jamie out on top, Keki 2nd, Phil there in 3rd. As it stands in the session, Phil looks like he's going to get on with things coming on to a 2nd run, as Lorenzinho now comes to the left-hander of turn number 8. This is a track that I failed at in my League Racing career on this game as well. It was changeable conditions in round here. I think I finished 10th in the end, even though I wasn't a set assault and even though I was 4th at one stage. on a different alternate strategy and could have easily won the race if I wanted to. As Lorenzinho through the middle sector at turn number 13, now comes into the right-hander now at turn number 14. So we'll see what the RCR man can do. RCR been ticking along nicely again in EML this season. Definitely hit form at the back end of last season, and there was Lorenzinho's lap goes 10th. So not a bad lap time at all there. And currently, top 15 covered by around about 8/10 of a second. Top 13, in fact, covered by less than 6/10 of a second. So not a bad lap there at all, being set by the drivers. Looks like Luca Rapazza is coming out of the pit lane as well. Caden Conway is going to go for another run. But we'll focus our attentions now on IRT and IRT Phil. IRT fans will be very happy in the chat now that we're now running on board unbiasedly with the IRT man in P3, now coming through the left-hander at turn number 13 and into the right-hander now of turn number 14. So we'll see what the Alfa Romeo man can do as he comes through the final corner. Wide approach though, actually, coming through the final corner, just getting a little bit of dirt on the tyres, now passing the line on this near enough 300-metre run down in towards turn number 1 as Phil now brakes hard in towards turn number 1 through the right-hander, does fling you off camber. He has got a little bit of a graining spot going on through the middle of the tyres, marble catching through the middle, the centre of the tyre basically, as now Phil comes down into the left-hander of turn number 2 and into the right-hander now of turn number 3. He's got a Ferrari just in the way on the right-hand side there, doesn't actually involve him in anything. Could have traffic in the middle sector potentially, but he's 5,000 up through the first sector, 26.9, good first sector, purple out of everyone it seems through the first sector as well. Now comes from the right-hander at turn number 5. Now into the chicane in turns 6 and 7. Not looking too bad at all. Very neat indeed. Right on the curve. That's going to lose him time now. All the way through this middle sector. Through turn 8. Through turn 9. In toward the left-hander turn 10. Then through the middle sector split at turn 11. Would not be surprised actually if he's down through this middle sector. Coming through. Oh, he's 1,000th up. So just pretty much breaking even at this stage on this lap time. He is going to hit a little bit of traffic with a Red Bull and an AlphaTauri just starting up on a lap. That's one of the Team TF10 drivers just about to start up on their lap, getting out of the way very neatly indeed as now Phil comes through the final corner. On the run to the line will come the RRT man. Such a very, very consistent lap so far from him. Comes to the line and goes top in the end. Found a big chunk in that final sector. 14.754. How do you like them apples, CPI? CPI there in second, and then Keki there in third. Not a bad lap time at all from him. Luca Rapazza is on a lap for X Esports, not to be confused with the X social media platform. That was ajar with Facebook and Instagram going down yesterday. Luca coming through the middle sector. Needs a 53.3 in the middle sector, so not too bad at all from the Red Bull. Now coming in toward the right-hander at turn number 12. In toward the right-hander now. Oh, the left-hander at turn 13. And again, the right-hander at turn number 14. Keki there in third. Tales in fourth. In Van Nunen in fifth. Big snap of oversteer there by the X Esports man. Now coming through the final corner on the run to line with 7.5 minutes left in the session. Phil out on top. Jamie second. Luca Rapazza now goes third. 14.8. That is a very good lap time by the X Esports man. And probably not a driver that you would think for pole position either, potentially. So Luca there in third. Not a bad lap there all from him. Tales on a lap time, 53.5 in the middle sector. So actually down on Luca through that middle sector. So we'll see now what Tales can do on the run towards the line. And there's a 14.8. Again, finding time in that final sector. 900th improvement, taking him into fourth position. And look at that. The top 7 drivers, all in different teams right now. Somebody will probably ruin that as Keki now comes through the final corner at turn number 14. The NLR man coming toward the line as Alex Marciano there goes quickest. Could it be a potential former NLR 1-2? Not quite. Keki there goes third. Current NLR man Alex Marciano there on top. So not looking too bad at all. And again, still top 7 driver. Literally, as I say that, Kowski's just gone fifth. I was going to say top 7 drivers, but out of 7 different teams, which again is the real consistency that I think we're seeing as Urpek just bangs in a 14.5 out of absolutely nothing. Great lap time there from the ET8 man, former F7R man there in Urpek. Alex Marciano there in second, former NLR man, and Phil there in third, the IRT man. He's there in third position early on. Alex the G there in the chat as well, saying Urpek just called Urpek. Love that. I love that Alex the G is here in the chat. That's first and foremost. That is the first and foremost of all of my attentions right now. But it is Urpek out on top, Alex Marciano in second, Phil there in third. Urpek couldn't afford, unfortunately, I think, to get ET8 in front of his name, which I think is why he's riding with Urpek right now. But it works. It works. I can tell who he is. You guys at home can tell who he is. I don't mind. He can remain that way for the rest of the season if he wants. Urpek out on top from Alex Marciano in second. Phil there in third. Mustache is on the lap time, I think, now coming through the middle sector. I'm not sure if he's actually on a run right now. Matcher there retiring in the pit lane. Nick will probably retire in the pit lane as well. 55.2 in the middle sector. Mustache is definitely down on a lap time right now. Urpek, of course, was a former F1 Esports Challengers man in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just get my notes up. Yeah, 2022, and he's the season 32 PSF2 Drivers Champion, so he has got a lot of good form coming into tonight, not only from PSGL, but from other leagues there as well. May saying already in the chat there, PC pull was a 14.416. Yeah, to be honest, console, I've done cosplay around here, and I've actually done WR Legacy Division around here as well a couple of weeks ago. And honestly, in terms of this track, there's not much of a difference in terms of the platforms. Not much of a difference from PC onto I've completely forgot what I was saying. Onto different platforms, basically. PlayStation, Xbox, PC. There's not much time between them, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that is actually relevant within the timing, what May says there, 14.4, and Urpek with a 14.5. So definitely going to be improving. I think console is actually a little bit better in terms of the improvement as well on this game around this track. We're going to get drivers out on their final runs very shortly indeed. Season 34 PSF2 champion. I've got season 32 in my notes. I don't know why that is. It might be because he won another title in season 32 in PSGL, which I'm not giving him credit for. Might have been PSF7 if I'm not mistaken. But Jeslar's coming back into the pit lane. Looks like we are getting a car coming, or we were going to get a car coming out the pit lane. I think they've just came into the pit lane once again. But it is Urpek out on top, Alex Marciano there in second, Phil there in third, as it stands right now here in EML F1. Mark saying in the chat as well, watch out for Jamie on the final runs. Yeah, Jamie down in 5th position, not looking too bad at all, 14.7. But what I will say, around his time compared to Urpek's right now, a 14.533 on these final runs normally isn't reachable. And I think drivers in behind, Alex Marciano and Phil probably can improve, but the further while you're down the field, the more you're going to struggle, I think, for a final run. One mistake in that first sector knocks you back so much in terms of confidence, knocks you back so much in terms of the lap time. We'll see what Alex Marciano can do. He's one of the first out on track right now. But a 14.533, that near 2/10 gap, don't get me wrong, it is a big gap around here in Hungary. I've seen it before where drivers have been, well, a 1/10 of a second and they haven't even improved. And that is just the nature of the track. That's just the nature of the beast here at Magdal Nadadec at the Hungaroring. Urpek out on top, Alex Marciano in second, Phil there in third. We'll see what Alex Marciano can do. Interestingly, actually, just a bit of a fun fact while I'm commentating on this. Urpek, former NLR. Alex Marciano, former NLR. You can probably see where I'm going with the next one. Keki, current NLR. So, technically NLR, if you think about it, I've got 3 out of the top 4 right now. But anyways, they're in different teams. I'm not going to flag on that point at all. I'm not pro NLR like I normally am. But Urpek out on top, Alex Marciano in second, Phil there in third, as Dirk has picked up a 5-place grid penalty for legal blocking. And that means we are going to get a restart, which is very good. And actually, he's pulling off to the left-hand side. I can see him in that middle sector. He's pulling off to the left-hand side, just so he doesn't get into the legal blocking penalty, and then he would have been out of the session. We're right on board with Alex Marciano coming now through the right-hander now of turn number 14. Jamie apparently was ex-NLR as well. That's new news to me. Oh, as Alex Marciano has fought the car too much coming through the final corner, just powering up on his lap time. That has set him back already down the straights. He knows that, I know that. And now on the run down and towards turn 1, we'll see what he can do. But not the best start at all from the Team TF10 man, just starting up on a lap right now. Coming now through the left-hander down in towards turn number 2. Then through the right-hander now of turn number 3. Urpek, Alex Marciano, Phil currently in the top 3. Alex Marciano's first sector is down. 800's down. I completely thought that would have been the case. Coming out of that final corner, that shoddy exit that he had out of the final corner from them all the way down through that first sector. But we'll see Well, let's see if 10 Man can do. Not gonna lie, he can improve in the middle final sector and probably still go quicker than Urpek if he's gonna really fly on this lap time. Caden Conway is the first man to come up on a run. He's through the middle sector. I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but he is looking quite quick. Alex Marciano is 500 up all of a sudden. So literally, as soon as I've said that, he's just found a tenth and a half out of nothing through that middle sector. Once wide coming through turn number 12, then to the left-hander now turn number 13, and then towards now the final corner at turn number 14. Alex Marciano got to find a tenth and a half really from somewhere to try and even get to Urpek. On the run to the line now. Will come the Team TF 10 man. Does he come to the line behind him? Yes, he does. 14.6 in the end. Not a bad lap there all from him. Phil down in the first sector. Keki is backed off, so Keki is done. In terms of lap time, just trying to filter through who might be furthest on. Luca Rapata has backed off on his lap time as well. Tales is going to be one of the next to come across the line. And in fact, actually, both McLarens are going to be coming across the line very soon. One of them into pit lane low on. The EPL man of Tales to the line. He goes into third even. Very good lap time there from Tales. 14.718. And currently, former NLR filling up the first three positions. Dirk there now going second. Not a bad lap time at all from him. What is that Phil doing on lap time? He's invalid though. 600s down. Jamie through the middle sector. Urpek goes even quicker. Jamie is 2/10 down in that middle sector. Ian Van Unen there going fifth as well. Jamie now on a lap. Now coming through the final couple of corners. Gatkowski looking to try and provide his former Legacy division with a big boost. Now coming through the final corner. On the run to the line. Could go close. Oh, he goes third. 1,000th off Dirk. Not a bad lap time at all there from him. A 14.569. And in the end, Jamie can only manage 10th position. Was down on the lap time. Caden Conway backed off. I think Mustache is going to be the next to come across the line, but he is backed off there as well. It is Urpek out on top, a 14.4. He didn't really need to set a final lap, to be honest. He's out on top, the UT8 man. From Dirk in second, Gatkowski there in third. Gatkowski really continuing on his very good form that we had, of course, in Legacy Division last night. If you didn't catch Legacy Division, go and watch that race back because it was an absolute thriller. Gatkowski, bless him, was holding everyone up in the middle part of his final stint. But in the end, he drove a very good race for CPI. And there, again, CPI, Gatkowski, he's got that PS5, definitely bringing him into the race, bringing him into contention. There in third, could be a very lively contender, potentially, for this race. But it is Urpek out on top, Dirk there in second, Gatkowski there in third. Very good lap time set out on track with a minute and 20. Hopefully we'll get Alex Marciano retiring into the pit lane. Hopefully he'll retire around about now, is what I'm hoping for. But it's Urpek out on top, Dirk in second, Gatkowski there in third position. We'll run you through the full grid order very, very shortly indeed. As it is Urpek out on top. Dirk will stay second, by the way. Those 10-second penalties will be removed. We are having a mandatory restart because of the illegal blocking penalty. So that means Dirk is second. Gatkowski there in third. 1,000th of a second. Can't really get any close on that unless you set the same lap time. Alex Marciano in fourth. From Jezlo there in fifth. Tales there in sixth. Ian Van Unen there in seventh with Phil in eighth. Keki there in ninth. And Jamie ran off the top 10. Phil, Keki, Jamie were well up in the top 5 in that session. The 8th, 9th and 10th come the end. That is just the importance of a late lap time getting in there. Nassim there in 11th on his debut for RCO and EML. Rapata there in 12th, Caden Conway in 13th, Lorenzinho in 14th, and Laurent in 15th, Casper Flack in 16th, Darth for 17th, Mustache in 18th, and Team Chazoo going to have to try and make up ground. Macho there down in 19th, Nick there in 20th. Both of them have got qualifying bans, and that is because of 3 reprimands already in one season. I'm going to go for an intermission break just while we run the adverts and everything else. I'll be back with you in a few minutes. My camera isn't showing. Brilliant. Ah, you've joined the Discord. This is going to be entertaining. Hello, everyone. I'm just speaking to myself, as you can tell. But I have got a guest alongside me in the commentary box alongside me. It's not Mr. Michael Edwards. It is Mr. Lesty the Twig. Lesty, how on earth are you doing?
I'm all good, James. I'm all good. Coming over from F2 to join in with the F1 fun and seeing what's good up in the top tier.
Yeah, definitely. So, and do you know what? I'll get rid of the camera graphic. I thought that was going to work, but then I realised I've got my camera on in Discord, therefore you won't be able to see me, which is absolutely brilliant. Anyways, quickly rolling on from that technical mishap that I had there. Looking through the team standings even coming into tonight. Just a reminder for Leslie, a reminder for everyone coming into tonight of the standings. ET8 leading the way on 100 points. 2 wins to their name. Ian Van Noonen and Matteo to thank for them. EPL in second on 53. Then NLR in third on 46. CPI in fourth on 44. IRT in fifth on 43. Then Team Shazoo sixth on 36. WR Esports in 7th on 33, X Esports 8th on 31, Team TF10 and 9th on 23. Team TF10 on 23, very much shocking so far from them, and RCR in 10th on 13 points. Obviously, Lester, you've got good experience commentating on most of these teams. I think you're part of one of these teams yourself, if I'm not mistaken. And ETA currently leading the way, 47 points, and a good qualifying session, however, from the ETA team again, Urpek on pole.
Yeah, Urpek on pole, a very, very good time from Urpek, showing some brilliant qualifying pace. But yeah, ET8 having a brilliant start to the season, and it's up to the rest of the field here to respond. And it's only a 10-race season, so with already that sort of gap, these guys have really got to start putting their foot down and reducing that gap to the top.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it is going to be really interesting, I think, this race. Obviously, Urpek out on top. You can see now on track, beautiful blue skies and sunshine. It really does not do justice coming through here on OBS how bright it is. And that could play a factor, as well as the corners, as well as the turn 1 mishap that that I referred to earlier on. Talk us through what happened in F2 on lap 1, because honestly, the camera angles didn't do it justice, but it looked like there was almost like a 10-car pilot coming through turn 1.
Yeah, Paul Parra of TGF, a man with great pace, was turned around the wrong way, and it just caused a bit of mayhem. Really, wasn't what we wanted from the start of the race, but we did get a good top 6 battle for half of the race, and it was LDL Nico that went on to take his 2nd win of the season so far.
Yeah, LDL Nico in the win. If you're watching F2 a little bit later on, just ignore what he said in terms of who's won the race. Just think of it as somebody else. do not hear the name of LDL Nico coming into your mind again for F2. But if you do want to watch F2 back a little bit later on, you can do. We're going to get into the race very shortly indeed. I'm not sure when these guys have been told to ready up. They can stop pretty much whenever. So hopefully we will see some good action out on track. Dirk mentioned out on track as well. Good race directorship. Yeah, but we can go. We are now ready to go pretty much. Indeed. I'm going to come across to you, Leslie, just before we get going. Who do you think is going to come out on top of this one? Now coming 5 red lights, and it is light turn, and where we go, and Urpek gets a very good start off the line. Dirk alongside him running down the hill in towards turn number 1. Hopefully we are back now as Urpek leads in towards turn number 1. Dirk there in 2nd, Alex Marciano there in 3rd, Gatkowski there in 4th, and Dirk there looking on the back already of Urpek. Switches to the inside line in towards turn number 2. The Team TF10 man forcing on that set of soft compound tire to try and get the job done on Urpek. Oh, and he breezes past him if he's not even there. Dirk through into the race lead, very much clean throughout. I think further down the field, everyone taking through the first couple of corners quite cautiously. Urpek now under pressure from the other TF10 man of Alex Marciano. He goes to the inside line and gets the job done. Gatkowski going around the outside as well on Urpek. Urpek really struggling on that set of hard compound tires. Keki trying to get involved in this battle as well. They're side by side, and the Red Bull flies off there. That's Jeslar in the wall, and I think Jamie's been caught up in that as well. Tales has had a spin privately as well, but Dirk there leads the way through the end of lap 1. Alex Marciano in 2nd, Gatkowski there in 3rd, Urpek there in 4th. It appears to be on a set of soft compound tyres early on, because the front 3 are on that compound tyre. Urpek there in 4th on a set of hards has been swallowed up by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, those hards are not lighting up from the start of this race at all. They're going to take a few laps to get in to their zone and their prime zone, as we're seeing battles coming further back, with Phil being passed by Luca Ripas on the final turn.
Yeah, Darth FIFA now on the back of Phil, running down towards someone. Could be 3 wide and towards turn number 1. Cover your eyes, kids. Here we go, in towards turn number 1 with Darth FIFA and Luca Rapazza side by side, and getting the switch back actually is Macho right up on the inside, nearly forced onto the grass there, the Mercedes. Now looking to the outside line and towards turn number 2. Macho, can he be the Macho Man? Like Randy Savage going around the outside of turn number 1. No, he can't. Through the outside of turn number 2. Can't find the way through. Darth FIFA pushed them all the way to the grass, pretty much without pushing them on the grass, to be honest there. Macho there in 8th. Luca Rapazza there in 9th. Lorenzinho there ran off the top 10. Lawrence the only one that's actually filtered into the pit lane. Everyone else is continuing. I think Jeslar spun. Taler's spun. Luckily, they haven't got any damage throughout the field, which is good. But Dirk there leading the way. Alex Marciano in 2nd. Gatkowski there in 3rd. Team TF10 9th in the championship. Coming into tonight, they're 1-2 right now. This is exactly what they need.
Exactly what they need, indeed. This is what they've got to do. Not a great start to the season. They need to take maximum points here to really push themselves back into contention in this season. And Darth FIFA and Macho, both the big winners off the start here. 10 places for Darth FIFA and 11 places for Macho. Brilliant starts.
And Keki getting the job done on Urpak as well, running down in towards turn number 1. The NLR man through on the former NLR man in towards turn number 1 and gets the job done. I've got the wrong graphic up because that is the position changes that I was trying to show. It went on stops instead. Jamie there in 12th there getting the move done, and Casper further down the field. So the CPR man trying to cook now throughout the field. Casper there in 13th, Nick there in 14th. Nick's getting 6 positions off the race start, but Macho, as you referenced, obviously, with that qualifying ban, that double qualifying ban that Team Shazoo had, he's there in 8th position. Definitely cooking up something nice indeed. They haven't got Ron, I don't think. Ron's in Thailand, apparently, according to what I read in the EML Discord server earlier on. Trust me, do not go back and read that. Some very much filth, I think, there in the chat going on from these kids. But Dirk there out on top, Alex Marciano in 2nd, Gatkowski there in 3rd, Kaki there in 4th. But early on, pretty much even Stevens, I think, out of the top 3. Nobody wanting to try and risk moves. We'll have a look, actually, early on at the ERS that they've got as well. Dirk has got 73% of ERS. Alex Marciano with that penalty has got 100%, full amount of battery, and Gatkowski's got 89. So Dirk, under pressure from his teammate, might just want to let his teammate go here, and that's exactly what he's doing down in towards turn 1. Alex Marciano now leads. Dirk there in 2nd, Gatkowski there in 3rd. The Team TF10 have got a plan in mind. Put Alex Marciano in front and put the driver who was quicker and has got most amount of battery in front, and drag along CPI and just keep Keki out of the DRS.
Yeah, they've got to be smart here. They don't want to trip each other up because Kagalski is right on the back of them. KK as well is just dropping out of the DRS, but he's there. And the NLR guys are obviously playing the long game, and those hard tyres will probably start feeling a bit better around now. And they're definitely not out of this. Playing the longer game and looking to go faster on the second half and second stint of their races.
Yeah, definitely so. In terms of my notes, by the way, in terms of the tyre wear and everything around here, just flicking up, it's 11 laps on a set of softs apparently. Optimal of 7. I think that is pretty much based off last year's game. I think they can go a little bit further than that on this year's game. Medium compound tyres, I've got at 17 laps. Optimal put it in around lap 13, 14, and hard compound tyres lap 23 laps lifespan, and optimal of 19 to 20 laps on that compound of tyres. Gatkowski is going to try now put my theory to practice as he looks to get the move on Dirk done in towards turn number 1. Doesn't look close enough, I don't think, to try and get the move done. Somebody that is, there was Macho to the inside line on Darth FIFA. Now trying to maybe give an ultimate team pack. Does that even work? Maybe not, but Darth FIFA now under pressure from Macho down the hill in towards turn number 2, and Macho is the Macho Man around the outside, gets the job done. He is through and he's into 7, and that one looked very easy.
It did. If that was a pack opening for Darth FIFA, that was probably a bronze player that's come out for him, because that was a nice and easy move for Macho up round the outside and taking P7. So Macho going pretty well here and has got a lot of confidence in that car. So one to keep an eye on towards the end of this race, I reckon.
Definitely. So, Team Shazoo actually have got their YouTube channel in the chat. So, good evening to the Team Shazoo YouTube fan club. Maybe Joe running the social media as well, I know as well. But Alex Marciano out on top, Dirk there in second. Dirk going a little bit too deep there in towards turn number 12. Just put him under pressure there from Gatkowski in behind. Now we've got the front six as a car train. Keki there's used up pretty much a whole amount of battery right now on 27%. Urpek there on 49. And Ian Van Oonen on 30. So ETA have definitely got something in terms of the battery life still to play with, certainly with Urpek, on that sort of hard compound tyres. As I say, the set of softs really do not last that well. 11 laps on the lifespan, optimal about 7 or 8 laps they'll be pitting in. So we should see, ideally, realistically, drivers coming into the pit lane from around about next lap onwards. But that's only, I think, if they want to do a 2-stop. If they want to do a 1-stop, they've got to try and drag out that set-us-off compound tyre pretty much until around, what, lap 12, lap 13, and then transition for a set of hards? Is that what you were seeing in F2 earlier?
Yeah, we saw most of the field actually all started on that hard tyre and opted to go for the medium on the second stint. The soft wasn't really in question for the F2 tier, but it seems that way here, and I reckon most of the hard guys starting on the hard, will be looking to go onto the soft tyre. So they do, as you said, they've got to push the soft stints just that little bit extra. But this will definitely bring in the likes of Urpek and Ian of NLR, because their tyres will now be nice and warmed up, ready to attack these soft guys ahead of them. So look out for the NLR pair coming through shortly.
Yeah, look out as well for the ex-esports man, Luca Rapazzo. Definitely on the back of Darth FIFA down in towards turn number 1. And it's looking for the move. Darth FIFA is looking on the move on the back of Macho as well. I'm not going to get close enough, though, to the back of him in towards turn number 1. But Luca is right there. So the hard's clearly now coming into play around about this point on the lap and about this point in the race as well. And again, very close to the back end of the hashtag, coming from the left-hander to turn at number 2. Dirk there was outside of a second, I think, coming through the final corner. Not sure what's happened there, but Alex Marciano now leading 3.5 tenths of a second. May have just been a team tactic to say, you're going a little bit too quick for me. You've got to hang back. I've got to remain within a second of you. I think that's probably what's just gone on there. The team TF10 right now. But it is Alex out on top, Dirk there in second, Gatkowski there in third. Ivor Bryn Mike, by the way, is living and breathing at least in the YouTube comment section, which I'm very glad to report. I have a feeling his insomnia kicked in and he slept in, which is unfortunate, but Mike is here in the chat at least. Leslie filling in from tonight. Big up Leslie for filling him in as well. But Alex Marciano out on top, Dirk there in second, Gatkowski there in third, as we are about to embark on lap 8 out of 35. Still a long race ahead of us.
Yeah, a long race ahead of us. As here comes Urpek now on his former teammate in NLR, Kiki, up the inside going into turn 1, and that looks very easy for the man of Urpek, and he's up into the top 4. And let's move further back. Darth FIFA, as you said, and Replacer coming up together. Macho has been overtaken. Maybe a mistake there. He's lost 2 positions into turn 1, and Replacer and Darth FIFA have capitalised on that and moved themselves up into P7 and P8.
Casper Flack as well, certainly not taking any flack for that move. He gets the job done on Caden Conway running up the hill in towards turn number 3 there. Job done for Casper. He's 3rd, he's into 12th. The IRT man looking at the IRT man? No. Yeah, he is an IRT man. Casper Flack there in 12th. The IRT man doing a good job. Caden there in 13th. Nick there in 14th. Not sure why I was second guessing myself with that. Luca, though, is through. All of that led from, I think, Macho just getting the attack on from Dolphy from behind, and that opened up a whole kettle of fish. Macho was forced on the outside line, in through turn number 1. Macho there ended up losing the position to Luca. He had the inside run coming out of turn number 1, and therefore the Red Bull got through and he's into 8th position, and now is hunting on the back of Darth FIFA. And as you can tell, the set of softs definitely wearing away early on. Could see a split up in terms of the strategies, could see a potential 2-stop at this stage in the race should anybody decide to come in. But Luca now on the back of Darth FIFA, running down in towards turn number 1. X Esports and X Social Media will be going wild for this move. Down the inside and towards turn number 1 comes the Red Bull. Easy as you like. Macho very hot on the brakes in towards turn number 1 and behind. It is Luca Rapazza through, and he's into 7th. Darth FIFA there in 8th. Macho there in 9th, as we are having battles further down the field as Nassim is in the wall. Nassim in the wall, and that was because of Jeslar. That's a VSC deployed out on track. Not sure what led up to that, but Nassim in the wall. Jeslo, I think, contacted him there. Tales gets away with that as well. He jumps to 2 positions as a result. And Nassim's got no front wing, and we've got a VSC out on track.
Yeah, this VSC could really help these soft runners, depending on how long this is going to last, because this could be a bit of a cheat of a pit stop for these guys, but it really depends if it's going to last all the way to that pit entry. I'm not sure. I think a couple of drivers might be tempted by it. Oh, but there we go. We've gone green, and it's a drive-through penalty for Lorenzino. That is going to cost him big time. And Jamie gets past him as well, just to add salt to the wounds. And it's going to be someone else, of Casper, up the inside. Lorenzino, that is not a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, not a good 10 seconds at all, and Lorenzino now down with that drive-through penalty. Will have to come in the pit lane, serve that up. If I was him, I'd be coming in this lap, and that's exactly what he's doing. Into the pit lane, he will come, drive-through will be served up. We'll cut to the front gap as Gatkowski's on the back of Dirk in towards turn number 1. Everyone back going again quite cleanly. Lorenzino there dropping down the field as a result of that drive-through penalty. So he's down into, 16th, 17th now. Nassim there in 18th as well. But it is Alex Marcion that leads the way. In fact, actually, Lorenzino's came in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. Nassim is the one that has came in with his broken front wing. Lorenzino was the one that has served his drive-through penalty. Confusing me with both RCR drivers coming in the pit lane there, but Lorenzino was the one serving the drive-through penalty. Goodness me, even the best sometimes get it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. 16th there for Lorenzino, Phil in 17th, then Laurent there in 18th position. Rookie ever is what CPR were going on about with Fraser. Not sure if that's in reference there to Lorenzino picking up that penalty. But what that incident did tell us with Jeslar and Nassim there, unfortunately, I think, left too much thin of a gap coming out of turn number 1. He was on the outside line by the looks of it. The Red Bull was on the inside line of Jeslar, and I think they just had it coming together, thinking probably Nassim has got the car ahead, when in actual fact he's, 3/4 the car ahead, and that's caused the incident, and Nassim ended up in the wall.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not been a good couple of laps for the RCR team, and they're now finding themselves in 16th and 20th respectively. So a lot of work to do ahead of them in the rest of this race. Still a lot of time to go. Anything could happen. A safety car could really bring them back into play, but you never know with this race and this track if you're going to get one. So heads down for them, pump in the laps.
Well, you've said it now. We're definitely going to get a safety car, I think, now in this race. That is for sure. Macho there sliding his way, coming out of turn number 2 there, and now down the hill, in towards, up the hill even, in towards turn number 4. Definitely Shazuman, definitely struggling, I think, with his tyres. Not so much, though, than Darth Fever, who's just had a huge mistake. Coming out of turn number 4, Macho in behind, going to try and lap this one up. Lovely camera angle now on board with Darth Fever. We'll continue this, hopefully, through the middle sector. Beautiful rolling helicopter cam, almost like a drone shot, actually, coming through on the track. Beautiful camera angle this is. Darth FIFA there under pressure from Macho. Macho in behind, trying to get the job done. 4 or 5 tenths of a second the gap. And again, Darth FIFA's gone too hard on those tyres. Just makes a slight mistake, but gains it coming through turn number 12. One of the best camera angles I've seen on this game so far. Gatkowski now on the back of Dirk. Still, though, drivers, interestingly, going beyond the 11-lap lifespan that I said for the set of soft compound of tyres. So they are going now further on into this race. Up 12 out of 35. Alex Marciano leads Dirk in second. Gatkowski there in third. Urpek fourth with Keki in fifth. Ian Van Noonen there in sixth. And Luca Rapazza, Darth FIFA, Macho, Jamie top 10. Casper Flack, then Nick, Caden Conway, Mustache, and Tales the top 15. Tales after an early mistake. Down in 15. There's actually, swapping that, Caden Conway has just been overtaken down the hill and towards turn number 1. Now he's back through and he's down into 14th position. Mustache is still fighting side by side. Still going to commentate on this one. Tries to go around the outside now at turn number 2. Does Caden Conway. Switches the inside line. Becomes the inside line for turn number 2. Marvellous. The camera angle didn't do it justice there. I wish I rode on board with that because Caden Conway has made Mustache to look like a bronze-packed driver. Quite literally there. Throoney's into 13th, Mustache there in 14th, and Mustache now definitely getting nil points for that move.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful move. Looked like Moustache had the position on him, but Caden didn't give it up. Swept back round on the inside and regained that position. Beautiful racing from the pair of them, to be fair. The respect and the space was given, and Caden retains that 13th in brilliant style.
Brilliant style indeed, and Caden definitely really liking his racing, I've got to say, in EML so far this season. Macho was the first to come into the pit lane, so around about lap 12, oh my word, those tyres are gone for. He nearly spun coming into the pit lane there, but Macho is into the pit lane, and now he's in towards the pit lane. Is this going to be for set of medium compound tyres, I wonder, to the end of the race? It is. Set of medium compound tyres on. Now, 22 laps on a set of mediums. They've managed to go further than my prediction of around 12 or 13. So Macho wins the pit lane, end of lap 12, onto lap 13. Moustache and Caden are still having their private fight. Second time around, Caden this time has been overtaken by Moustache this time around into 12th position. But Macho, he's came out in pretty much clear out. He's got Laurent behind him, Laurenzinho ahead of him. So not looking too bad from Macho's perspective. But in the end, 17th position, set of medium compound tyres. I'd be very concerned if I was in Team Shazoo right now, whether or not those tyres could get to the end. Personally, I don't think they can.
I think he's got a chance. He's got to keep them. He's got to look after them. He's got to keep off the curbs as much as he can. But it's one thing saying that here, but you take a lot of exits. Tails picks up a 3-second time penalty, and we are seeing pit stops coming now. So that has really opened the gate as Kogowski comes in from the top 6. So this should see a response from the next lap from at least one of the TF10 drivers and KK himself. So we're going to see them roll in. Kogowski on the mediums.
Yep, set of medium compound tyres on the car. So this is him now going to come in the pit lane. Where is Macho? Macho's even coming to the final corner. He's going to be miles ahead, and he's in clearer. Absolutely perfect. Take note, Alex. You can still hear me, Leslie. As that reconnection is successful, we should be back. I should be back. Apologies about that. I think OBS is just having a bit of a down night, to be honest. As I've lost now Leslie, I hope.
I'm here.
You're here.
Not sure what's going on, but Ian's gone up the inside of KK as we are seeing the pit stops now. Dirk having to respond to Kogowski, but Ian getting ahead of KK, and KK's really trying to push these softs as far as he can.
Definitely so, and we'll see what he can do out on track. I have just turned my camera off, by the way, on Discord, so hopefully that will fix all the lagging that is going on. Hopefully it's now a much cleaner picture as well. And hopefully you can still all hear us, which is the main thing. Alex and Marciano leading the way. Opek there in second. Look at where Dirk has came out, though, in relation to Gatkowski. One thing that we didn't actually touch on was the undercut around here. Undercut is so powerful around this track. It's what I was talking about last night in Legacy Division as well. Undercut is so powerful on this game that normally you would expect to be within the the DRS zone of the car ahead. Dirk has found himself 2.6 seconds behind Gatkowski, and that's just from a lap fresher tyres that Gatkowski has got. So that undercut is so powerful. Gatkowski is now on the back of Tales and Moustache. He's going to be under pressure. Alex Marciano into the pit lane. Urpek and Ian Van Unen continue on for a few more laps. Keki's into the pit lane there as well. But now comes the real trouble, because Gatkowski was in behind Tales. He's now on the back of Moustache coming through the final quarter. Moustache does not need to give up the position whatsoever. He can fight this until his heart's content, but if I was in Gatkowski's shoes, I'd be overtaking quite literally everyone right now. He's through on Moustache, down in towards turn 1, gets a little bit of clear air, and look, in relation to where Keki and Alex Marciano are, Alex Marciano hasn't even come out the pit lane, and I have a feeling that might have been because of his 5-second penalty that he picked up for gaining position under the yellow flags in the VSC.
He did, yeah. He had to serve that penalty, which has cost him even more. So he's out behind KK now, and he's got some work to do here. But at least that penalty's over and done with, and he just needs to put rubber to track, really, and just get down the road.
Yeah, definitely so. Fraser there saying in the chat as well, Aston will have a big job to catch, but will have major pace at the end. Very similar to what PSF1 happened around here as well. If you caught the PSF1 race at the start of the season in PSGL, Very similar situation there, what Fraser was referencing. Urpek wasn't in that race, I don't think. Neither was Ian Van Noonen. I think Ian Van Noonen was one of the ones that actually did come into the pit lane, though, in that race. And that's if he did race, that was. But Ian Van Noonen there in second. ETA have got control of this race now, but it's going to be very concerning because Dirk now's on the back of Caden Conway. Gatkowski is going to be catching up to these guys very shortly indeed. Dirk getting the job done now on Caden Conway in towards turn 1. Gatkowski is ahead as well. But Dirk there into 7th. Now brings the question, when do you decide to come into the pit lane? Urpek and Ian Van Noonen, we saw with Macho 12 laps, 13 laps basically on a set of soft compound tyre. Drivers lasting a little bit longer than that as well. So we could see, realistically, Leslie, Urpek, Ian Van Noonen, one of them, I think, coming in, maybe lap 2021?
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of a few laps, so I'll expect them in soon, but one of them's going to have to go longer than the others. There's a yellow flag towards the back. That's just RCR Nazim, just getting a bit out of shape. But yeah, they're going to have a tall order to really bring the pace and cut their way through. But yeah, it's going to come down to the final few laps, this one.
Ian Van Noonen's in now. Ian Van Noonen is into the pit lane right now. So this is a bit of a shock, but then again, I'm kind of expecting it, to be honest. Gatkowski's going around the outside of Nick, by the way, through the final corner. Oh, that is the compounded tyres in their freshness, in their peak performance. Gatkowski gets the job done on Nick. Nick didn't even need to defend that. He was absolutely swallowed up around the outside. May as well create a black hole coming through the final corner for Nick. Gatkowski getting the job done now on Casper, down in towards turn number 2. Absolutely flying the pole right now for IRT. Gatkowski Fooney's into 3rd, net lead of the race. He's got Dirk now on the back of Nick and Casper. He's got to worry about them. The worst part of the track to catch up as well. But in reference to Dirk, as he catches the inside curve at turn number 4, I was about to say, Dirk is catching Gatkowski out on track. The gap between them, 2.1 seconds. The gap between them when they came out the pit lane was about 2.8. So Dirk is catching, but he's caught them at the worst possible time.
He has, it's going to cost him. And Gagalski's really pushing on hard here. But Dirk, look, he's just stuck behind Shazoo. Nick run wide, so that's going to be a nice invitation up the inside. And that's one dealt with. And he just needs to get past our team man as our race leader pits.
Urpek is into the pit lane. Luca Rapazza in as well. So guys in the set of hards are coming in. Nick is into the pit lane. Looks like Casper's going to continue on, maybe for that set of soft compound tyres towards the end of the race, but Dirk now flying easily, overtaking Casper as if he's not even there. The IRT man now down into 3rd, Dirk there into 2nd, and look at the gap, 2 seconds is the gap. So even though Dirk got caught up in that big wash, in that big traffic that he had, he's actually caught onto the back of Gatkowski. In terms of the DRS right now, 56% battery for Dirk, Gatkowski 44. So Dirk has remained a little bit behind for this final part of the race, which is very good. The ERS is looking very good from Dirk's perspective right now. Gatkowski on 43, so 11% in it even in terms of the ERS, as Luca and Phil are having a fight down in towards turn number 2. And actually around the outside goes Jeslar on Phil. Phil now going around the outside of Jeslar towards turn number 4. Luca Rapazza getting the job done. X Esports clearly having something going on there. Maybe a bit of team tactics, in fact, going on from X Esports. Luca Thuney's into 13, Jeslar down in 14 on that much older compound tyre. And I think Phil, ideally, IRT will not be happy because it looked like he got forced off track there.
Yeah, it did look like he got forced out a little bit as we've seen. Moves up ahead as Ian and Alex Murciano are dispatching of Moustache. I was going to say Ian caught Moustache in the wrong section, but had the more grit, and he's going to try the inside of Caden. He's not hanging about. He knows he's got a job on, and that's a lovely move to just get the move done and get everyone out of the way that are running long on the hard tyres. And it's 9.5 seconds to Gagalski up the front. Let's see what the ET8 man can do.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Here comes Alex Marciano to the inside on Caden Conway. These guys, honestly, are just getting swallowed up into black holes right now. coming through these corners, the much fresher tyres really kicking in compared to Moustache and Caden, who are going to be on that Telesoft compound tyres towards the end. Will be very interesting that they don't, unless they're predicting a very late safety car in this race. Caden's run out of EOS, and here comes Urpek to the inside line of chicane. Caden backs that off. Beautiful move by Urpek. That is why he's an F1 Esports Challengers Man of 2022. Urpek finishes into 7th. There's drama further down the field, though. VSC is deployed, and I think that's because of Lorenzino and Tales getting involved in the incident. Lorenzino's got no damage. Tales has got a broken front wing, and for the second time tonight in Hungary, some virtual safety cars definitely Hungary, that's for sure.
Yeah, we had the same thing in F2 actually. The safety car did not want to come out. And that's the VSC, and that's going to cause everyone to be stuck under
Macho
Delta.
win.
And Macho actually coming in. That's an odd call.
That's interesting, because I think he can go on a set of soft compounder tyres, to be honest. I think he's going to come in. No, fresh mediums. Fresh mediums, and Lorenzino, there's a few drive-through penalties just being picked up there. Nick has picked up a drive-through, as well as Lorenzino, so we're back underway in the VSC. Hasn't really worked out for that as Macho. The VSC, I think he was hoping, would have stayed out about 15 seconds longer, because he would have actually had a free pit stop on the rest of the field. But unless he gets a late safety car, Lorenzino there retires in the pit lane, he is done for the night. Macho there in 10th position. It's baffling because he's got Luca Rapazza ahead. Luca's on 2-lap warmer tyres now compared to Macho. All of that, I think Macho has just given away a potential P3 finish there.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, the Shazoo engineers, if you're listening in, and I apologise if I get this wrong, but I don't see what advantage he's going to gain from this. I really don't. I think he's, like you said, given away 3 positions.
Well, Team Shazoo in the chat have just come in and said means he will be comfortably making the end and push, which is totally understandable. It's what any driver will want to do at this stage of the race. But track position is everything around this track, and I think he's got it wrong based on the track position. He's there in 10th. Darth FIFA, Luca Rapazza, Jamie. Jamie's catching Urpek. Urpek's catching Alex Marciano down the straight here, in towards turn number 1. Should get the job done, the E8 man. In towards turn number 1. Alex Marciano down into 6th. Jamie there in 7th. Once Jamie catches up to these guys in front, you've got a bit of no man's land between Darth FIFA, Luca, and Macho. And Macho, to be fair, compared to Luca, he's lost 0.2 of a second as Macho, so it really is not working out for him. Again, not being dishonest to the engineers at Team Shazoo. They do a fantastic job as Jeslar there, getting undertaken by Casper even, through turn number 1, now down into turn number 2, gets the job done. He's through on Jeslar down in 12th position. But Macho there, my only concern now, 3.9 seconds. He is losing time. Luca is going quicker than him. He's using a bit more battery. Macho, to be fair, hasn't got more battery compared to Luca. So all of this is going to be, for what? It's going to be in vain, really.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. I'll wait and see if I eat my words and Shazoo engineers can laugh away at us. We'll see. We'll really, I'd like to see it work out for him because he was having a strong race, and I think he has given up some free positions there. But you never know. You really never know. And Macho has got some pace under him, so let's see what he can do. He's starting to gain now, so he's got those tyres up to temperature. He's got 13 laps. Let's see where he can finish this race.
But look at the gap ahead. Luke is now within basically DRS range on Darth FIFA. Next lap around, he will be in DRS range of Darth FIFA. He's got 4-lap younger tyres as well. These guys could aggressively fight, bring Macho potentially into play, and then Macho gets them both and gets into 8. But then again, he's going to be in exactly the same situation as he was in. Because Jamie is there ahead. He's 3 seconds ahead of Darth FIFA. It's a lot of ground to make up. Do not get me wrong, I think he is going to do a great job. He is going to pick up positions here and there. Nick has just come into the pit lane, however. There is a spinner as well in Nassim who has spun again, and he is very much struggling for RCR there down at the back end of the field. To the front, though, still leading the way. Gatkowski leading, Dirk there in second, Keki there in third. We've now got a 3-car train for this race lead, which is going to be very entertaining indeed. Keki, former F1 Esports Challengers podium sitter in Brazil. Dirk there in second, TF10 man, TF10 man's PS team manager And Gatkowski, WR Lexi Division hero there, qualifying in Q3 last night. He currently leads the way. This is setting up very nicely. But then, in behind Leicester, you've got ETA, who have had 2 wins on the board already this season. Matteo and Ian Van Oonen. Ian, of course, taking the race win last week. And now Ian Van Oonen is in a good position once again, 1.6 seconds behind on the back of Keke. And he is going to catch because of those tyres.
Yeah, I've been following him for nearly a lap now, and he is absolutely flying, is Ian. He's coming right up to the back of these guys so quick. So he's really, really looking good, and I'd put my money down on him to really have a go at winning this race. He's looking really good. Urpek's coming up with him. It'll take him a few more laps, but Ian's going to be blasting through into these top 3, and we're going to have a real good fight onto this race.
I wouldn't even say discount Urpek at this stage. Do not discount Alex Marciano, especially Urpek on those fresher tyres.
No.
Don't count them out at all. Macho, by the way, is catching Darfifa and Luca very quickly indeed now, so he is beginning to send that time completely down. Avatar, by the way, in the chat saying hi. Did see him in the PCF1 chat earlier on, so good evening to you. Probably following, I think, for the commentary more than anything else, but Gatkowski leads the way. Dirk in second, Keke there in third, Ian Van Oonen there in fourth. And Ian Van Oonen now setting his sights on his first target in NLR Keke. Could be down the straight. Macho was aiming the move down the straight in towards turn 1 on Darfifa. Down in towards turn 1, gets the job done. The Shazuma now through, and he's into 9th position. This is now where, Lesty, Team Shazuma going to prove us wrong and say, right, he's beginning to fly now. He's catching Luca. He's catching Jamie. He'll catch Alex Marciano as well. Macho not entirely out of this, but still needs a lot to go his way from this point onwards.
Yeah, I think he can set his sights on Luca for sure. CPI Jamie as well, but in terms of that top 6, Macho's going to have to produce something to really get involved in the top 6 here. But I don't know what position. I can't remember what position he boxed from. So if he gains the positions back that he lost from pitting, then fair play. But if he's looking, if Team Shazoo are looking for him to gain more positions than what he boxed from, then I'm not sure if the top 6 is going to be possible. But we'll see. He's looking really good so far. But this top 4 now, I'm getting excited, and Urpek's going to join this very soon as well. This is going to be a brilliant final 10 laps of this race.
And just to answer your question there as well, actually, he was 4th when he came into the pit lane, was Macho. So I don't think he's going to be getting as high as 4th, let's just face it now. But if he can get top 6, that'll be realistic. I think if he gets top 6, it's damage limitation. It's only a couple of points that he's losing. In the end, in the whole grand scheme of things, it's only, 3 points, I think, that he's going to be losing out on. So it's not much, but every point counts in EML. Every point counts, especially because the point system is so tight around here. And the league so far this season has been so tight, especially in F1. No disrespect to F2 because it is looking quite good there as well. But F1 doing a fantastic job so far. And because of the first 2 races this season, honestly, is more wide open than the previous 5 we had combined. And this is what's making team events so much more exciting. And it's what makes EML so much more exciting as well, as the top 4 are now within a second of each other coming through in towards turn 13.
Yeah, are we going to see a move now? Because Dirk is going to have his mirrors full of KK and Ian and Urpek just in the distance, so he might want to make a move on Kukowski fairly soon. But here comes Ian, bringing a lot of pace. KK goes to the inside, defensive. Ian's going to have to go around the outside. KK making it very hard. The switch back, but he doesn't get the grip on the LNR man, and they stay as they are. But further back, Rapasa making a move on Jamie. Jamie's looking to defend the inside, but Rapasa will open that DRS wing and make that P7 his.
And looking out for Macho and behind as well, because Macho was catching on these guys very quickly indeed. He is eating into this ground on the back of the Ferrari, on the back of the Red Bull ahead of him. There's Laurent going through. Jesdal's actually into the pit lane, so that's why he's going through. Keke, by the way, becoming the Minister of Defence for Hungary, I think, quite literally there. That was beautiful car positioning coming through turn number 2. I will, however, say, coming through turn number 1, coming out of the final corner even, coming down the straight in towards turn number 1, I will say that was a bit of a dart across from Keke. So, potentially, Ian Van Oonen, if he doesn't get the job done this lap around, ideally there could be a case there for saying, right, he moved across me. I was easily going to get the run down and towards turn number 1. I would have been here at this point in the corner, and that could potentially be a penalty coming his way. Urpek now joining the fight as well, so E-Tate have got everything to fight for. They're leading the championship by 47 points coming into tonight, so they can waste away points if they want to, make it interesting for everyone else. But here comes Keki now on the back of Dirk in towards someone. Dirk very deep on the brakes on the back of Gatkowski. Gatkowski there leading the way, but now fresher compounder tyres coming into play, running down the hill and towards turn number 2 again. Gatkowski leads, Dirk there in second, Keki there in third, Ian Van Noonen in fourth, Urpek there in fifth. If you're not on the edge of your seats by now, you're about to be in the next 7 or so laps.
Yeah, definitely. And these guys got to be careful because Alex Merciano is only just under 4 seconds behind. So if these guys battle too much, it will bring the TF10 man in and it will make this battle a 6-car battle for the win and the podium places. So this is, I mean, tactics are going to come into play here. We saw a little bit in F2 of the race that I commentated on earlier. Cars waited until the final lap or even the final couple of laps to make their move because you don't want to give up the DRS, and when you're in the lead you're burning a lot of battery. What battery does Kagautsi's actually doing very well on his battery, James.
He is indeed. 84%. Dirk's got 95, 97 actually coming through the final corner. Keki on 57, Ian Van Noonen on 52, Urpek on 71. Here comes Ian Van Noonen again. Is it going to be second time's a charm? Keki immediately defends the middle of the road to the inside line. Ian Van Noonen sees what's coming. He tries to go around the outside this time. But again, Keki, car position is everything. Coming out of turn number 1, down in towards turn number 2. Needs to be middle of the road again. Invites the inside line. Ian Van Noonen very late on the brakes. That was for that late move down the straight. And that has now put him behind Urpek. Good move there from ETA. And that in trouble, I thought was one of the leaders. It's Nassim there off on the right-hand side of the track. Ian Van Noonen to third. Urpek there into fourth. Keki there in fifth. Personally, I think that was good driving from Keki. Yes, it was a forceful move from Ian Van Noonen, but the gap was there. He was entitled to go for it.
Yeah, he was a bit late on the brakes, but yeah, he forced KK wide and got the move done. I mean, KK will feel a bit aggrieved by that, I'm sure, because he also lost the position to Urpek. But KK was showing great defensive driving there. He's a great driver. We know KK. Everyone knows KK. He's got great abilities within his car, and the defense he showed there was really, really strong. So he's still in this, though. He's still in this. If he can keep with these ET8 guys as they actually swap places, a bit of tactics maybe there.
He's been told to give up the position because drivers in the guys in the chat are saying that was a push to pass, basically, and that's what he's done. To try and get any penalties out of the system, he's done that just to basically get the move done cleanly out on track. I respect that absolutely fully from Ian Van Noonen. In the end, my mistake for calling it that way. Ian Van Noonen, though, behind now Keki. Really good sportsmanship. That is what team events should be built on. Very good sportsmanship. Very good communication from the E8 guys as well. Brings Urpek now into the fight for the race lead. Brings Ian Van Noonen now back into that fight with Keki for third and fourth. So it adds even more complexities into that race. Kagowski leading the way, Dirk in second, Urpek there in third. But very, very good sportsmanship there by E8. I completely rate that.
Yeah, no, fair enough, and fair enough to the guys in the chat. It was a bit of a bump and run, so well spotted to everyone in the chat, and yeah, well done ET8 for giving that position up. So Ian's going to have to start again.
He will, but he can prove now he can get the move done cleanly out on track, which to me, for calling it wrong in the first place, is everything, because I want to see a good move from him now on the back of Keki, in towards the right-hander now of turn number 14. Urpek, though, was looking on the back of Dirk coming through the final corner. Is he going to be quick enough down the straight to lie up a move in towards turn 1? Goes in very quickly indeed. As Urpek switches to the inside line. That's too late on the brakes there from him. Gets the inside line. There was not really much contact in that, to be honest. Urpek now and Dirk side by side down the straight. Dirk will fight that inside line to the hard gun 10. Flies it back to the inside line. Gets ahead of Urpek going into the corner. Nice move by Ian Van Noonen in the background as well. That is racing right there. Dirk into second. Urpek there in third. Urpek went too hot on the brakes, similar to Ian Van Noonen. There was very much minimal contact from the camera angle that I got, certainly. Very much minimal contact. Dirk just got the fresher tyres coming out of the traction coming out of turn number 1, and in the end manages to stay ahead.
Yeah, really, really good racing, really good battling from these guys. And I picked up on a comment in the chat, Nathan saying that Kwiatkowski he'll be loving this, really, seeing this happening behind him. He's been under no pressure whatsoever so far, being sat there in the lead, and he's managing his battery, he's managing this race really, really well, coming up to the last 4 laps. So he'll want that to continue. He'll want all of these guys behind him battling hard and pushing each other wide into turn 1 and turn 2. And he'll be loving it. He'll be loving it at the front of this race.
He will be. Here comes Urpek on the back of Dirk. Is he going to go for the move again? Oh, you bet he will. He's absolutely flying to the outside line this time and towards turn 1. Dirk there will hold the inside line. Urpek, I think, just needs to wait. He just needs to wait, bide his time. Don't make a mistake, though. Let a bit of a chance in towards turn number 2. But Urpek, I think, just needs to stay in behind. Just need to keep a cool head by now, as does much of these guys. You were saying that Kwiatkowski is probably not under much pressure out in front. Let me tell you something. 0.3 of a second and behind, and you've got 4 cars in behind you. Alex Marciano now catching. Macho now catching as well. Kwiatkowski is going to be sweating buckets there for CPI in the lead right now. Dirk in second, Urpek there in third. It's going to be a fantastic end to the race. Hopefully it's all kept clean. You guys have got the best seats in the house at home. Kwiatkowski leading the way, Dirk in second, Urpek there in third. Could ETA get a 3rd win in a row? Ian Van Unen last week, Matteo the week before. Now they're in a good sight once again. But it's all up to whether these guys in front, Kwiatkowski and Dirk, those tyres can get carried. Because Urpek and Ian Van Unen, the way that they've been fighting Leslie, they are now very aggressive in terms of their tyres. And they'll probably be around the same tyre wear as what the guys are in front. So it's all evened out.
It has indeed. The fresher tyres are coming into play, and I think Kwiatkowski is now going to start to feel a bit of pressure as Dirk is looking at him. Kwiatkowski has gone defensive. There goes Dirk, a really late time at the inside. Kwiatkowski gets the switch back on him, and he gets back into first place. Wow, what a dive from Dirk. But Kwiatkowski really replied well and has managed to keep himself in front in this race.
And that was far too late from the brakes there from Dirk. Far, far, far too late. I mean, he's pretty much taken skittling approach in 2021 in Hungary when it was wet. Pretty much like that is what I can reference it to. Dirk in the end, staying in behind on Kwiatkowski. He went so far deep, I thought Hungary was going to open up their borders again, to be honest, and welcome in the Iron Curtain. But Dirk there in second, Kwiatkowski leading the way, Urpek there in third, Ian Van Unen there in fourth. Brilliant switchback though from the CPI man to get back in front, to keep that cool head. Mentality now is everything. Going on to the final 2 laps of this race, you do not want to put your team's chances and your own chances on the line for a ridiculous move in these final stages of this race. Let's hope we can keep it clean. Kwiatkowski now leading on to the penultimate lap of the race. The Ferrari leading on to the final 8.7 kilometres of the Hungary ring. But he's now got a whole host of pursuers in behind. He's the hunter now becoming the hunter. Dirk on the back of Kwiatkowski. Down in towards turn 1 again. Switches to the inside line. This time going to get the car stopped. This time got the car ahead. Beautiful move by Dirk. Gets Urpek into the fray as well. Urpek Thuni's into second. Kwiatkowski now being opened up like a whole kettle of fish. Cannot find a way through an ETA block. And Urpek there into second. Ian Van Unen there in third. Brilliant racing from all of them out on track. Kwiatkowski will try and get the run back up the hill and towards turn number 4. But that was pure cinema. Dirk Thun into the lead. Urpek there in second. Ian Van Unen in third. That's what it pays on to be on fresher tyres.
Yeah, Kwiatkowski and Ian had their wheels locked together. No, Urpek, sorry, they had their wheels locked together. Kwiatkowski just couldn't get separated from Urpek, and it's cost him that extra place. And now ETA, with the fresher tyres, are in the prime position here on the man Dirk, who does need a big result for his team. But he's going to be on for a big result. Is it going to be the win, though? These 2 guys are going to go for it.
Gonna add a further layer to this. Alex Marciano is now in this fight as well, so we've got a 6-car train for the race lead going into the final lap of the race. Dirk will definitely get aggressive on E-Take just to try and benefit his own teammate. Now joining onto the back of the train is Urpek. Now goes in the hunt on Dirk down in towards turn 1. Looks to switch to the inside line. Gets the car round the outside. He's nearly gone too hot in towards turn number 1. And Urpek now leans on his teammate. ETA not working this out. And Dirk will lead down in towards turn number 2. This is crucial now for Dirk to lead and pretty much now park the bus out on track in this race. Urpek now on the back of Ian Van Unen. They're very low on battery, as you can tell. Dirk has saved something back up, but it's only 11%. Ian Van Unen on 6. Urpek's on 8. Gatkowski's on 5. Keki's on 46. Keki is on 46% of ERS. He could be the one to watch out in this race. Ian Van Unen trying to dive it to the chicane. Dirk there getting contacted there. And now ETA are going to lock in. Maybe on the back of Dirk. They've got to keep it clean though. Dirk now coming through the final couple of corners in this middle sector. Just about hanging on. 3 tenths of a second. 2 tenths of a second. Gap carving its way down from the Dutchman in behind. And the Dutchman now on the back of his fellow countryman. In towards the right-hander at turn number 12. Dirk there leads the way. Ian Van Unen in second. Ian has got one last opportunity, and that's into the final corner on the drag to the line. Dirk, though, gets the better exit, and I think he's got this, you know. The Team TF10 man now coming through the final corner. Pressure as it goes. Pressure is held brilliantly. Dirk to the line. Wins in Hungary. Ian Van Unen in second. Urpek there in third. Gatkowski in the end hanging on, clinging on for fourth. Keke with that ERS advantage could not find a way through in fifth. And Alex Marciano end up in sixth. And somehow Matthew and Luca end up in that fight as well, 7th and 8th. Brilliant ends that race. Brilliant defensive driving by Dirk. A brilliant attacking driving by ETA. Best finish of the season by a country mile this season.
Wow, what a finish. You couldn't ask for much more than that, but well done to Dirk for winning that one. That is real good defensive display when you've got 2 really fast ET8 drivers there on the fresher tyres, really pushing to get the race win. But we said before the race, TF10 struggling in the start of this season. They needed to bring a big result here. It's P1 for Dirk, P6 for Alex Marciano, and that will give them a real good boost going forward now. So well done to them. Well done to ETA on the double podium. I know they would have wanted the win, but you've got to look long term. A double podium will be really good going forward.
It will be really good going forward indeed. I have asked the drivers for interviews as well at the end of this. Dirk is certainly saying he wants an interview. Do not blame him for winning that race. I mean, he's a team manager and he's turned that into a race win. Even team managers can win sometimes in EML and indeed in league racing, which is always good to see. And it is going to be the TF10 man of Dirk. I was literally ridiculing them in the standings. They were 9th coming into tonight. Not where we deserve to see Team TF10 out there in terms of the whole grand scheme of things, but probably one of the most underrated teams on PlayStation right now and out there completely. It is him that comes out on top for Dirk. Team TF10 out on top for the first time this season. ET8's time now completely gone in the end. They perfect 100% run gone, but it is TF10 who come out on top, and it is Dirk, the one that comes out on top. We'll run through the full grid order very, very shortly indeed. It is Dirk out on top in the end from Ian Van Unen there in second, Urpek in third, 5 tenths of a second. If we got another lap out of that race, I would have absolutely loved that, to be honest. Gatkowski there in fourth, Keke there in fifth, Alex Marciano in sixth. Big up to Macho, 19th on the grid, qualifying ban, overcoming that and finishing 2.2 seconds off the race win. Very good drive from him. Luca Rapata, same there, in 8th position. Jamie in 9th. Casper ran off the top 10. Of course, top 19 get points. Darth Reefer, Caden Conway, Mustache, Jeslar, Phil, top 15, all get points for their teams, along with Laurent in 16th, Taled in 17th, Race to Forget for EPL, Nick there in 18th. There, I think, with Nassim finishing as well, he does get an extra point. He was a lap down. And in the end, finishing down in P20 was the man of... I have completely forgot because it's just gone completely against my mind. It is, of course, the other RCL man of Lorenzino. There we are. Got there in the end. But we are going to hopefully get some interviews from these guys. But what we can do before the interviews happen is have a look at what is coming up next week. We go from Hungaroring to Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico, round 4 of the season. Lester, you might not be here for PSF1, but PSF2, what have the guys got to look forward to there?
You've got a race provides a lot of thought, really. I'd say race strategy, tire wear, really high. It's not an easy track. it's not flowing. You got a big long straight down into turn one. You got to think about qualifying. You could see some tactics even in qualifying, because do you want to be starting on pole with the slipstream you get down into turn one? It's the longest run into turn one of the season. And yeah, you're gonna see a lot of moves in that one, but it'll be a tough one, and weather could always come into play as well. So it's going to be exciting stuff for F2 and F1 next week.
Of course, and dare I say it, your final race with us in EML this season, because you, my lucky friend, are going off travelling somewhere.
I am indeed. I am. So if you wanna hear me and my lovely monotone voice for the last time this season, join me for the F2 race at 7. I won't join James again. I'll let Mike come back in because my voice was going by the end. But yeah, so it'll be my last one. But yeah,
My voice has gone, and it's pretty much I've only done one. You've done two tonight, which I fully respect, and fully respect you for joining me very late on indeed in terms of the race. Luckily, you caught me on the intermission, which is always good. We're gonna have to go to interview room underneath F1. As I will go there and see Mr. TF10 Dirk. Will you be able to join me in there, or shall I drag you across?
I think I can join you in there.
Perfect. Right, I'll join that interview room now. Just just makes it easier for everyone, and hopefully we can now speak to the man who finished in the end in P1. It is TF10 Dirk, and Dirk, oh my word, you must have been absolutely sweating buckets on that final 2 laps of the race. Probably the hardest win you've ever had to fight for in your life, I think.
I have to say, 2 days ago, PSGL Monaco was a bit chaotic as well, but it's definitely high up there. After the ET8 guys catched up so fast, it was just I didn't really expect to be able to defend them with their big tire advantage, but some contact with Urpak, I think 2 laps before the end, but looks like he let me past in turn 3, or I just outbroke him a bit, I don't know. But I think overall I kept it clean and made sure I finished in P1.
Yeah, you definitely kept it clean. I honestly thought you nearly messed up your chances with that late dive bombing towards turn number one a couple of laps before that. Talk us through that battle though, because it looked insane in terms of us in the commentary box. It was really well fought, really clean in terms of the racing, and E8 obviously definitely gave you something to think about in behind.
Yeah, in my mind, I was thinking that Urpak pushed off my teammate Alex Marciano in lap 1. So I thought Urpak would maybe get a penalty for that. So I wanted to pass Kegatkowski before Urpak overtook me. So maybe if then Urpak would overtake me in the last lap, I could still win after penalties. So I just had to pass CPI fast before ET8 would overtake me, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, definitely understand. And obviously, with Alex pushing them off on that one as well, obviously that whole grand it comes into things as well towards the end of the race. Tensions flare, but tensions were kept really calm. I've got to say, given how aggressively the racing was out on track, in a very good way. I've got to say as well. Leslie, I'm going to come across to you if you're with me. Any questions?
Yeah, Dirk, congratulations on the race win. Coming towards the end of that race, what were you thinking? And what were you realistically thinking of? I can get this race win, or were you thinking, I will take whatever out of this top 5, top 6?
I was thinking that the win was possible, but like it was not the option that I was expecting the most. I expected probably Urpak or Ian to win the race after they catched up pretty early, like lap 28. I think they already catched up, so they had a long time to go for the moves, and just the whole time in sector 3 they were closing up massively. But that's also why I got kind of forced into a move on the Ferrari earlier than what I wanted. because I felt like if I don't overtake CPI, I will get overtaken by ET8, and I'm not in the top 2 of the train, which makes it pretty much impossible to win the race.
Yeah, you have to make that move, and Kagowski was sitting pretty for a while there. So I think you guys battling behind, it was only fair that you got him involved as well, and rightly so. You made the move and went on to win the race. But what do you think this result can do for TF10? Obviously, not the most ideal start to the season so far, but P1 and P6 from this race. What can this do for the season and 7 races left?
Yeah, I'm not fully sure about the standings, but the only thing I know was that ET8 was far clear, and after that it was all pretty close. So we're only at race 3, so I think still like P2 is still possible, and maybe even P1 if ET8 has a few bad races, because it's only the start of the championship still, and we've shown today that we got the pace to fight for wins. So I don't see a reason why it would not be possible to do this again next week and the week after that.
Love that. Lovely.
No, sounds really good indeed. Final question for me before I let you go, Dirk. Team TF10's chances in Mexico. That is the next track on the calendar next week. How do you think the team's going to get on, and is it a track that the team likes?
Normally for me personally, it's a good track. I took pole in WOR Tier 2 there, so normally I would say I would drive that, but I have a test week at school, so not sure if I would want to drive it. But looking at the attendance right now, it looks like we can field a strong lineup.
That is looking really good. I'm definitely excited by how team at TF10 are going to get on next week in Mexico, with or without you racing there in Mexico. But go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Very welcome indeed. And that rounds us off very neatly in terms of the racing here in EML F1, and indeed for EML tonight as well. Big thank you to Leslie for joining me in the comment box, and obviously a massive thank you to our sponsors, Next Level Racing, who provide me, albeit which you can't see, with this lovely chair that I'm now pointing toward in the background. That was given to me from WR, but I may as well give it as product placement for Next Level Racing on the stream. And also to Rising Lines as well for being massive supporters in terms of EML. Definitely a bright future ahead with EML going forward as well, going into the final few rounds before we hit break week, of course, in 3 weeks' time, I think it will be now, as of course we do go to Mexico and then to Austin, Texas for round number 5 of the championship. Of course, F1 on 8 p.m. UK time. If you want to catch Leslie on a swan song next week, you can do that as well for Mexico. Round number 4, F2, of course, at 7 p.m. UK time. And that is definitely going to be a good race given how they were fighting earlier on as well in F2. I'm going to end it off here. As I say, big thank you to Leslie. Big thank you to you guys at home for tuning in. We're going to end it off here. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time in Mexico, goodbye.